Hello everyone. Today I just want to share a video by Kevin Chamberlain discussing the globe Earth religion. He seems like a genuinely intelligent thinking person, and I really enjoyed his presentation. If you like what he has to say, I hope you head over to his channel and subscribe. Enjoy.
How are you? You alright? Have you encountered anyone doing this particular hand sign? There's a new community that's evolved, developed, emerged amongst us. In every single country, everywhere around the world, there's people joining a new community. And it's called the Flat Earth community. And that hand signal is supposed to mean something along the lines of, I've gone flat. Or, I believe the world is flat. Well, if this is the first time you've heard about it, we've all been in this position here now, and we've all scratched our head and thought, what the hell is this all about? Well, I wanted to prove someone wrong, so I looked into it. And for the record, I'm not a flat earther, by the way. A quick walk around Snowdonia will convince anyone that Earth's landmass is anything but flat. The horizon's horizontal, that's for sure, when you look out to sea, but the landmass is not flat. That's just the truth. What I'd like to do now, after having looked at this issue and been laughed at and ridiculed by many people, I'd like to hope that I've been able to pare away things like faith, belief and opinion and whittle it down to facts, because it's very important to know what we are and where we are, because according to H.G. Wells, he was a highly educated professor. He taught professors. He made the claim that unless you know what you are and where you are, you can't even begin the process of educating yourself. He says, and before you even do that, you've got to dismiss everything that you've learned from the government curriculum, be it in kindergarten right the way through to professorship. He said you've got to ditch all that, then convince yourself of what you are and where you are. Then, he says, you're able to begin the process of educating yourself. So taking his advice, I've taken a look at this. Back to faith. I'm going to aim this now at the globe believers. And it is a belief, make no mistake about it, it's a belief, not a fact. If a religious leader came up to you, globe believers, and said, join us, we have God, I would say something along the lines of, well, how do I know he's there? I can't see him or hear him or speak to him. How do I know he's there? Then these religious leaders would say, because we know he's there. Trust us, we'll show you pictures. And then you make your choice. And you can go walk down that road of faith, believing in those men or not. Or you can search things out for yourself. Now let's look at the horizon. We know it's horizontal, level and flat. I've measured it. I've done a lot of work over the years in civil engineering. And I don't know if you've seen the engineers bent down and looking through a tripod thing. Well, I've got access to those total stations and that equipment, and I've used it to measure the horizon many a time. And I can tell you, it's measurably horizontal, level and flat. It does what it says on the tin. The word horizontal is derived from the word horizon. So there's no arguing about that. There's nowhere on Earth you can go and see curve. Everest, no. Passenger jets, no. No matter how high we go, or even over 40,000 feet, you will not see any curvature. So, globe believer, you turn to the government and you say to them, now about this curve of yours, how do I know it's there? There's nowhere I can go on Earth to see it, and that's a researchable, proven fact. Doesn't matter how I feel, there's nowhere I can go and see it. Mr. Government or Mr. NASA will turn to you and he'll say, well, because we know it's there. We'll show you pictures. Trust us. So what's the difference between believing in the curve and believing in God? There is a difference. At least the Christians or the Jew or whoever, the faithful people, they will admit, yes, believing in God is my faith, and it requires faith. Whereas the globe believer will get very angry, very emotional, and they'll start defending their paradigm, and they'll say, it's not, it's a fact. We're on a globe. And then you just ask them, well, where's this curve, please? Well, it's there. I've seen pictures. And that's all you're ever going to see. Pictures taken through a fisheye lens. You're never going to eyeball it, so it requires faith. Now then, I challenge you, globe believers, to stop me in my tracks and take me to task, because I'm going to present you facts now pertinent to the shape of Earth. And ask yourself this: do they support the Earth being flat, as the flat Earth community call it, or does it support it being a globe, as you people believe it is? Water lies level and flat. True or false? It lies level and flat. We know it does. Water cannot be humped up into a hill, even less so a mountain. True, absolutely fact. It's a fact. Now, I'll stop on that one now, because I used to be a supervisor when they built St Asaph Power Station on Burbo Bank, and that power station takes in all the cables from the turbines offshore. And I know, after speaking to the supervisors and the managers and the men who work on the turbines, that those turbines are 11 to 13 miles offshore from North Wales coast. And that's fairly typical, I believe, of turbines right the way around the coast of Britain. 11 to 13 miles offshore. And yet, if you're standing on the beach in, say, Rhyl, you can see the concrete base of the nearest ones, and you can see the top of the turbines. And then you can look back the extra few miles and you can see the bottom of the base of the furthest ones to the top of the turbines. Albeit, there is a vanishing point, as they teach it in art in school, vanishing point perspective. But the point is this: you can see proportionally the exact same amount of freeboard on that concrete base on the distant ones as you can on the first ones, the nearest ones. That means, what I'm trying to say is, they're completely visible, but the furthest ones look smaller because of vanishing point perspective. It's well known about. Now, here's the problem that you're going to face. Google, right now, Google, how far is the horizon? And I'll tell you what you're going to find. You see, the globe in the classroom that we've all seen from infancy right the way through to professorship, if any of us have ever got there, which I certainly haven't, that globe is supposed to be to scale. And they give us figures on Earth, similar to top trump cards. You can find out the statistics of this so-called planet we're on, and they'll tell you the horizon for a 5'7" man staring out to sea when he's standing on the beach is 2.9 miles away. 2.9 miles away. And yet those turbines are 11 to 13 miles away. Once you've Googled that, Google curvature calculator and tap in the figures associating with a 13-mile distance, and it'll give you the number. They'll give you the height of the curve. And those turbines should be behind a hump of water. You shouldn't be able to see them. So there's a problem there, isn't there? Well, who gave us the globe model in the first place? A fella called Martin Beheim. And the government are using it, and NASA still use it as a scale instrument. So the government are giving you that globe. And the problem is we can see too far. We can also see across from North Wales to Ireland. I've seen from Rhyl with my own eyes, and so have all the locals. I'm not the only one. I haven't got superpowers. You can see from Rhyl, the Isle of Man, the bottom of the Peak District. You're talking 70, 80 miles, but people are seeing a lot further. In Wales, we get the option of maybe seeing 80-odd miles. And we can see coast to coast, by the way, not top of mountain to coast or top of the mountain to top of mountain. We can see coast to coast. Everyone in Holyhead and Trather Bay knows that at night they can see the lights of the ports of Dunleary and Dublin. They can see them. And vice versa, Ireland, they can see the lights of Wales. So there's a very big problem in the figures that the government are giving us. Centrifugal force, it flings off. The government tell you that the Earth is spinning at 1,050 miles an hour. Dog walkers who've thrown a ball on the beach with those flingy stick things, they know that as the ball flies, it'll fling off sand and water, boom. Throws the lot off, and the ball's dry when you pick it up as good as. And that's proof that centrifugal force works. In fact, it's predictable, repeatable, demonstrable. That's centrifugal force right there. So, why isn't the water flinging off at 1,050 miles an hour? Oh, gravity, yeah. Okay, well, you globe believer, you tell me the name of the man or woman who proved that gravity was a fact. I want to know the name of them, I want to know the date, and I want to see the demonstration with my own eyes. Because I'll give you another fact, gravity's still a theory, and gravity comes from the government. It's them who are selling you. Don't give me Isaac Newton, because I'll leave you with knowledge about Isaac Newton and his laws, okay? The government are selling you what that man sold them, okay? And you tell me who turned gravity into a fact. You're not going to. Okay? So what we're expected to believe is that tennis ball flinging, boom, throws everything off. You've been in those cages on a fairground where it pins you up against the wall. That's getting bigger now. You can measure what they call so-called G-force in jets as they form a big arc. It pins the pilot back. So gravity, up to a certain point, physics and science does what it says on the tin, and it exerts outward thrust, the faster the more, right? But they're expecting us to believe that when you get to something Earth-sized, something between Earth-size and, say, the tennis ball, something is twisted 180 degrees, it's flipped, and now the laws of physics are not doing that, they're doing that. And it is a 180-degree reversal. And that's a very, very important fact to remember, because when you start looking at who's behind the globe, you realise that they have what's known as the law of reversal, and it's very important to them to reverse the truth. So, in short, if you're a globe believer, then I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you that you're believing what the government are selling you. If you're a globe believer, then you're a staunch religious disciple of the government, and you're supporting the government. They've given you a version of what you are and where you are, and I've started applying a tiny little bit of knowledge now to the where we are, and it just doesn't correlate with the figures that are searchable on Google right here and right now. You can't make the two mesh. They don't work. We can see too far, and there's other great big problems. So if you're a globe believer, I respect your faith, the same as I respect the faith of a Christian and a Jew and a Muslim or a Hindu. I respect your faith, but I don't share it because of the people who are selling you that faith. They have a track record of telling lies, and you know that anyway. So there it is. Question your surroundings, question your government, question everything they tell you, and start getting yourself with the programme. And remember this, what we learn from history is we don't learn from history.